Hey guys, and welcome back to Grounds Family Farm. This morning, it's probably one of the coldest mornings that we've had so far. The wind is blowing. It blew in a cold front last night, and I could tell how windy it was just by listening to the wind whip around the house, which up on this hill you can feel all the time. You can hear it. But I wanted to come check out how these guys are doing today because, I mean, when you have a night that cold, it's a good thing to go ahead and check on your animals first thing in the morning. But wanted to make sure that everybody's fine out here. They've got some new hay yesterday, and make sure we have no new babies or anything, because a lot of times, I mean, that's when babies hit. It's, you know, your coldest nights of the year. It's not the coldest we're gonna have, I'm sure, but it's pretty frosty out here this morning. Hey guys, how are we? How are we? Cold never bothered you guys, did it? Yeah, you've got hay though. You've got hay though. I wasn't coming out to feed you this morning. I'm just making sure that everybody's fine. Miss Rose, still pregnant as ever, I see. Yeah, hey, you don't want to bump that, babe. You don't want to bump that, Johnny. Hi, Rosie Posy. Hi, Brownie. Hi. These sheep are probably loving this temperature right now, because they get a little bit too hot. Hey, Blizzard. Hi, buddy. You love the cold. You love the cold. That's the little puppy dog who loves to go roll out in the snow, though. Yeah, it's not feeding time yet. I just fed y'all last night, like right at dark. So I'm not feeding right this minute. I'm not feeding right this minute. Y'all can go back over to your hay bale. Yeah, Kevin's dad actually put out a hay bale for us yesterday because I had to go to a neighboring town for a fair board conference, and Kevin had to work all day plus a little over, so he helped us out by putting out a new hay bale for them, which they've been eating, and you can tell they've been laying in this stuff over here, which I know Kevin said before he was going to try to push up all this hay together and kind of see if we can't keep it from getting like so spongy and all that out of here, because it can definitely get that way in a hurry. Hey, Zebus are coming nice and close this morning too. Buggy and Belle. Hey, Buggy. Buggy, you're getting real close. You're getting real close. Yeah, I like it. Nutmeg, you're fine. You're fine. Hey, Rascal. You gonna be sweet this morning? You gonna be sweet? Yeah. Hi, Blizzard. You're always sweet, aren't you, baby? And Colton. Can't forget Colton. Yeah. I'm glad y'all are doing good. I'm glad y'all are doing fine. And no babies yet. I mean, I didn't think they were that close, but you never know. And like I said, I came and fed after dark last night. I look at everybody, but you can't like really scope out how good the bags are filling out or anything like that. So I just always want to keep a close eye on everybody. Let's go see how these, oh, sorry, the wind keeps taking my breath away this morning. Hey, yeah, y'all have a new hay bale. Loving their shelter over there. Super glad we moved it down the hill. Everybody doing good? Y'all all doing good? Yeah, cold never bothers these guys either. They absolutely love being out here in the cold weather, except Precious, and he stays in the shelter. You can kind of see him back there. His little joints, bless his little heart, bother him some, but horses and donkeys and crazy emus, they're all good. Aren't you, babes? Yeah. Hey, you really don't want to get him. She's over there trying to nip at his tail. She might get a very angry cat if that happens. Yeah, you might. You might. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, like I said, I'm just doing morning checks. I'm not feeding this morning because they do have hay, but I just wanted to run around real quick and check on everybody and then get back inside. I wanted to show you something that I decided I'd make this morning for the girls. Actually been promising Abby this for a little bit, and she's still asleep, so is Izzy, so I figured I'd make them some breakfast like I said, something that they've been asking for a little bit. But let's go check on the cows real quick. Before I check on the cows, let me let you see this crazy guy. Yeah, you may be the one person I feed. Yeah, you might be. But yeah, look at his little sleeping area that he made. He's silly. He has that shelter, which he's pulled everything out of it except for the shade cloth that was over here before, and he sleeps on that. But he just rolled himself in the hay. Crazy, crazy. Like I said, I think I will go ahead and feed him. Reason being, the other day, I was actually working on editing a video, and Kevin's mom calls me and was like, hey, Hulk is out and he's by the road. And I said, are you kidding me? So I got some warm clothes on, came out here with Izzy. He was down there on close to the driveway, just past where their shelter is, just laying down, sunning, enjoying himself. She walked him all the way up here, calling him from her car, and we had to get him back in the pen. He broke one of those electric fence wires over there. I did put it back together. Kevin is gonna possibly reinforce it, but he said it looked like it was pretty good to him. But yeah, we're trying to keep him fat and happy and all that until we have him in a different pen that he definitely can't get out of at all, because he pushes hard enough and he might find another weak spot. You never know, because this fence has been up for a while. Let's get him some feed. Okay, yeah, so real quick stop out here with the cows, and then I'm gonna have to get back inside because my fingers are frozen. Hey guys, you good? Yeah, y'all don't care either, do ya? Y'all really don't care either. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. There's Tubby. We're gonna put another hay bale out here, but they've been eating down the one in the corral, so we haven't really bothered on doing that just yet. Wanted to let them eat that first. And there's Joe, Miss Thang. Clover, I see you. I do. And Miss Nova's over here doing good. She's getting really close to us, so I think that Izzy's gonna have her gentle down in no time, truthfully. Since y'all are fine, I'm going back in the house to warm up a little bit and make the girls some breakfast, okay? Okay. Here's our little Billy and lamb pen. Only one lamb left, and the 3 Billies that'll stay in here. Y'all are doing good though, huh? Yeah, I'm not feeding you Cookie. I'm not feeding you Cookie. You got hay. You got hay. I fed you last night. Yeah, so I'm going in the house. Alrighty guys, so making breakfast this morning and making fully from scratch breakfast. So I'm going to make sausage from regular ground pork, show you kind of what we put in our sausage, what we like. We've tailored it to our likes and dislikes because a lot of sausage either is not gluten-friendly or it just has too much spice for us, because we like sausage, but we don't like an overabundance of some of the spices that people put in sausage sometimes. So we make our own, especially since we have so much ground pork from the pork that we've raised ourselves. So I'm going to show you how we make it. Not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I mean, like I said, if you can make it to suit your own family's needs, then it is wonderful. And it's super, super easy, honestly. Grab my measuring spoons out. So this recipe calls for, I've got a pound of ground pork, and then it's going to be 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, which I did break down and buy some brown sugar just because I was running out of my other sugar, and as much as I had going for the holidays for Thanksgiving, there was no way I really had time to just continually make batches and batches and batches either. But 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I've got my sage here. I need a teaspoon and a half. I actually usually go a little bit under that just because, I mean, we don't want something terribly sagey, but we like the flavor. So that's a little, about a teaspoon right there actually. Okay, now 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm gonna dip from here. I'm gonna wipe that off a little bit. I either use Redmond's or sea salt. I have my Redmond's out today. Tried to be more intentional and healthier with a lot of our choices. 2 teaspoons of salt. And this is one I don't change. Let's see, a teaspoon of pepper-ish. Sometimes I go a little under on the pepper. And then 1/4 teaspoon of oregano. Found this recipe, tweaked this recipe, and this has kind of been our go-to for a while now. Pinch of ground cloves, so I usually just sprinkle a little bit. And then here we go. Mix this up. Like I said, tailor this to us, and it's super easy to make your own modifications. I mean, I had never really thought before ever about making my own sausage, but here we are. Okay, and you just want it kind of good and mixed up. You don't want to see like dark pockets where there's just a bunch of brown sugar or something like that, because then you won't have it throughout the rest. And then all I do after that is I just make my patties, and I'm gonna put them over here to cook. So I've got my skillet heating up over here. I'm just gonna put it on like medium high so that it doesn't get too hot and just burn it before it cooks through. But then I'm just going to make my patties, kind of flatten them out a little bit. And if I'm cooking for everybody, sometimes I'll do a couple pounds, but a lot of times it's just, we'll do a pound and that'll feed all of us for a little bit, especially with everything else going with it. Well, it's starting to sizzle a little bit, which is a good sound. But we're gonna let this cook while we cook everything else. That way, it'll all be ready about the same time, because sausage takes a little bit longer to cook, especially if you cook it slow like I am. Okay, I've got a little bit left over, so that'll be to do for a second batch. Okay, well that's cooking. Gonna start working on our pancakes now. And if you've never made pancakes from scratch, you really should give it a go, because it is honestly a really, really easy thing to do. I know mixes are easy, these are just healthier, and can use my flour and everything, and turns out great. So this recipe is a pretty standard recipe. It calls for 1.25 cups of whole wheat flour, which I have the einkorn wheat. Here's my 1/4 cup measurement. There we go. And then a tablespoon of baking powder. Tablespoon of sugar. Give them that little bit of sweetness. Then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. This is getting a little lower. I've got some more in the pantry, but I'm trying to just use what I've got before I open a new one. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I want you to kind of get these all stirred together a little bit. Now I'm going to add my egg. I always try to crack it into something else just in case I get shells, which I did. Okay, there's my egg. Now I need 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of milk. So there's my cup of milk plus 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. And then it wants 2 tablespoons of butter melted. Okay, let me do that real quick. Okay, so while we're waiting on that butter to melt, I'm going to go ahead and make the pancake syrup. At least put it together and then we'll cook it in a minute. But it is super, super simple also, which, like I said, I keep stressing that everything is super simple, but it's because it is. Cup of white sugar. And then I need a cup of brown sugar, which I always pack. Sorry, I had to get my butter out, and it's melted now, so I'll let it cool for just a second. Then I need 2/3 of a cup of water, and that's it for now. All I have to put in there is these 3 things, and then I've got to put it on the stove for a little bit. So I'm gonna hold off on doing that just yet until I kind of get these pancakes mixed up, because syrup really doesn't take very long. The only other ingredient I haven't added yet is my 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and that goes in after the rest of this has boiled and all that good stuff. But back to the pancakes. So I'm pouring in my milk. And now my butter. So now, just gonna whisk them together. You want them light and fluffy and airy. And if you've ever made pancakes from a mix or anything else, you know they're gonna be a little bit lumpy. That's normal, that's okay. But yeah, when most of the, you don't want like big chunks of flour or anything like that in there. But when it kind of looks pretty good, then you're gonna kind of let it sit for just a couple minutes, let some of these bubbles kind of form. And then we'll start putting it on my griddle over there. I have to use over there because my plug-in is on that side. So I'm gonna get my measuring cup out that I'm gonna use. I usually use like 1/3 or something like that for it. So we'll do that in a minute. Let's check on the sausage. Sausage is looking fabulous. Cooked it in my cast iron because it's just better. And I always kind of break it apart, cut into it. Yep, it is cooked all the way through. So I'm gonna put this, transfer this to a plate with a napkin on it to let the grease, any grease on there. It's just not a whole lot. Yeah, that one's still done, even though it's a little thicker. So now, put my last couple of patties on here. I may turn my heat down just a hair since it's already really smoking up pretty hot right now. There we go. Last 2 on the stove. Over here at the griddle, it's nice and hot now. Now, I will tell you that this wheat mix is probably gonna be a little bit runnier than some of the others, but it's one reason you preheat your griddle too. There we go. And they spread out pretty good, so. Try to gauge it where I don't have them touch, but seems like it's inevitable if I'm making pancakes that they're gonna spread out so much. May make that one a little bit smaller. And that one there. Maybe if I'm careful, I can make a couple of tiny ones. Girls like tiny pancakes sometimes too, just for snacks. All right. I've got maybe enough for one more deal. One more pancake there. Yeah, they're starting to form nice bubbles. That's what you want. When it's completely covered in bubbles, then we will flip them. All right, gonna see what these pancakes look like. See if we can get my spatula in here. This is my first one on, so see if I can flip it without putting it on top of the others. There we go. Oh, beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous. Try to flip them quick because otherwise I have a tendency to make a mess. Like I just did. Pancakes are just so fast, it's just really awesome. And it's a good breakfast. The girls really love eating pancakes. All right, those should be about ready to come off too. I'm gonna check them. Check this middle one. Oh yeah. Even these little ones are ready. So start with our first ones. And wheat flour does tend to make like a little bit thinner pancake than regular white flour does, but I mean, we know that there's health benefits to eating wheat flour. Plus, like I said, if I can't eat the white flour, gluten-free is okay. And I've made them plenty of times and everybody will eat them, but I'm still loving this flavor and everything of the einkorn wheat. Make our last pancake here, and then I'll show you how easy it is to make my pancake syrup. Flip that last one. Sausage has just a couple more minutes on it, and then it's going to be done. And then we'll make the syrup up. All right, now to the syrup. Just got to let this stuff come to a boil. And then after that, we'll cut the heat down a little bit, add our vanilla, boil it another minute or so, and then it's done. And it will be completely ready. All right. Starting to get there, I can hear it. All right, as you can see, it is starting to boil. So I'm gonna cut my heat down just a little bit and then add some vanilla. I usually just do about a capful of vanilla, to be honest. Some recipes I follow exactly, others I play with just a little bit. And I feel like that's one of the fun parts about cooking is the creativity of it all. I'm just gonna let that boil for a minute or two and call it good. So there's the finished product. Looks like pancake syrup, doesn't it? And it is sweet and perfect and works wonderfully with these pancakes. There you have it. I have made all of this for breakfast, including a cup of coffee for me, one for Abby, and some hot chocolate for Izzy in about 35 minutes. Super, super fast. Like I said, these pancakes are super duper easy and they taste really wonderful. And sausage, like I said, it's really, really easy to make. Ground pork and just a few spices, and you can have your own custom blend of sausage and it tastes absolutely wonderful. And homemade syrup, if you've tried homemade syrup, a lot of times you won't want to go back to the processed stuff from the store because it tastes so much better and it stores really well too, because I will actually take this and once it's kind of cooled off a little bit, pour it in a jar and put it in the fridge. And it'll stay, I mean, it'll be good for the rest of the month. I mean, it is really awesome. But like I said, it's super, super fast and easy. And why wouldn't you want to do that instead of having to use something that's got as many ingredients as, you know, what we find in bottles of syrup from the store. But I guess that's all I've got for you today. The girls should be up soon and I'll let them try their yummy breakfast. If I get snap some pictures of them, then I will try to put them in here. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and we will catch you next time at Grounds Family Farm. Bye, guys.